I did it. This past weekend, I graduated from college, which means that I finally earned this. My BS in sports management. And I also earned this. My BA in both philosophy and economics. Now, earning 2 degrees across 3 different majors is a pretty big accomplishment. But for me, these mean something a little bit more, and they're even more special to me because 4 years ago, I was a college dropout. My first try at going to college as an undergrad, I ended up being forced to withdraw because I got a really bad concussion and I couldn't read, I couldn't do any of the work. And I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to go back and actually finish a degree. But a year later, I decided to give it another try. I went in, I gave it my best effort at a different school, and I did very poorly. I had about a 2.1 GPA in my first semester, and I failed multiple classes. But I wanted to stick to it and see what I could accomplish. At that point, I was only a sports management major. I wanted to go and get my degree in sports management and then move straight into the real world and start working as quickly as I could. But over time, that kind of changed. My second semester, my grades started to improve a little bit, and I found that I had a bit of a talent and a passion for philosophy. So I contemplated changing my major, but instead I decided to add it as a dual major. And something very similar happened that next semester, my first semester of my sophomore year, where I fell in love with economics and I added it as a third major. Having 3 majors meant that quite a lot had to change about my college career and my class schedules. The first major thing that changed for me was the number of credits that I needed in order to graduate. Instead of the traditional 120 credit requirement, I now needed 150 credits in order to graduate with both a BA and a BS. And for those of you who don't know, every 30 credits is equivalent to about 1 year in school. So by adding on those 2 other majors and attempting to get a Bachelor of the Arts in philosophy and economics, I was signing up for the equivalent of an extra year of school. And I almost didn't do it because of the strain that would put on me and my desire to get out into the working world when I was first making this decision about 3 years ago. But I eventually decided that it was the right thing to do for me. I had a talent for all 3 of these majors, and I had a passion for all of them. And I realized that what I could do with these degrees once I graduated would make up for the cost of that extra year. But it turns out I didn't need the extra year. I crammed so many classes into my schedule that I managed to complete all 150 credits within 4 years. And that's not even taking into account the fact that I had to make up credits from my first semester of my freshman year where I failed classes. All in all, I averaged about 20 credit hours per semester, which, for those of you who don't know again, in order to be considered a full-time student, you need to take 12 credit hours. I was almost doubling that on average. Sometimes I actually did double it, or came close. My most credits that I took in a semester was 23 credits, and I managed to get it done. Within the course of about 18 months, I went from not being sure if I'd ever be able to finish a degree, and I was failing classes left and right, to having 3 majors on my plate and starting to think of longer term aspirations in education. And that ultimately ended up leading me on to law school, which is where I'll be going at the end of this summer. But for me, the big accomplishment was that I was able to walk across the stage and obtain both of these degrees. And not only that, I was invited to sit on the stage during my commencement ceremony, and I was even asked to speak and read the opening introduction. Looking back on where I was 4 years ago, I don't think I ever thought I'd accomplish what I have. I not only completed a degree that I wasn't sure I'd be able to get done, but I added 2 other majors and completed 2 degrees across 3 majors in 4 years, when it should have taken me 5. Not only was I able to walk and receive my degrees, but I was invited to be on the stage and speak during my own commencement ceremony, when 4 years ago I didn't know if I'd even be able to finish school. And on top of all of that, I got accepted into a top law school, and I'm going at the end of this summer. It's almost impossible to comprehend how far I've come in such a short amount of time, and I'm proud that I've gotten this done, and I'm proud of these, but there's still a lot to do and a lot more accomplishments along the way. Now, as you can probably see from the background, I'm in a different place than where I've typically been recording videos. I'm back home living with my parents for the summer before I do end up going on to law school, so that means that I have more time for this. I'll be making more videos over the summer, so let me know down in the comments what types of videos you want to see me make. If there's anything you want to see me do this summer, anything at all. And also, let me know if you want me to do a deeper dive on my story of going from a college dropout to where I am today. I could dive into the concussion aspect. I could dive into what my decision-making process was with actually adding those extra majors. I could make an entire series on it if you guys want. So let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.